Hi. I have ordered for my son a Lester B. Pearson. Remember, he won the Nobel Peace Prize for Canada, and the Lester B. Pearson bronze medallion with the Canadian flag on it. And this is a gift for my son. My son works in the government and of Manitoba government, and this would be the ideal gift for him. And I thought I would mail it, but then just in case, mail Canada Post, usually reliable, but sometimes, there are other factors in play there, and mail could get lost. So I am going to wait for him to visit us again and then give it to him. We also ordered a totem pole, and it's a raven totem pole. And I can share both of these images because the medallion is my son's, and the totem pole will go to the other side of the fireplace. You've seen me tape from this end, from the opposite end, and you've seen our fireplace. And so that's the plan. And yeah, that's the light on there. I was just checking if the light was on there. And I looked up Lester B. Pearson's um, biographies, Mike, and there are 3 volumes. I checked out volume 2 and volume 3. So I found this interesting. He said that the liberals, he was a liberal. Lester B. Pearson was a liberal party, uh, 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 liberal party uh, 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 person, liberal party member who became the prime minister. Before that, the minister of um, foreign external affairs, minister of external affairs. Yeah. So he has described liberals as being all about safety and progress. And under Justin Trudeau, I'd like to say that the Liberal Party has taken on a new vision. Remember, Justin Trudeau had many portfolios. His cabinet ministers were 1.5 times what Stephen Harper had before him. I think if Stephen Harper had 18, 19, or 20, Prime Minister Trudeau during his first term had 30. And he had a couple of portfolios, one for sure, something like not free enterprise. And I had said that the minister should fund me for a book because I was just then in the process of writing a lot, and then it all came out on my LinkedIn webpage, Facebook webpage, and Poem Hunter webpage, and there's a new collections out there from me, even in chemical engineering and other engineering and scientific fields, and those have to get published. But some of them you may have seen. Some of the collection on the LinkedIn and Facebook web pages, and so I had applied to this minister because it said free, something to the effect of free enterprise. So I had pointed out that my creativity, etc. But I have no liberal arts degree. So that's the omission I made. So I have 3 engineering degrees. So I guess she was right in denying me the funding. So that was his own portfolio, well thought out, and must have encouraged some Canadians at least. And I think that this term also he had his own portfolio. I mean, for a political science student, it could be interesting research to look up and see what progress Canada has made under these portfolios, the said ministers. And yeah, so my point too is that as minister, Lester B. Pearson, with a colleague, Mr. Dewell's American colleague, in March 1956, joined his chief, Prime Minister Saint Laurent, and Mr. Dull's chief, President Eisenhower. The third political leader was the president of Mexico. So those were the beginnings of the NAFTA, and after that, the USMCA agreement. And so it's kind of interesting, yeah. And my third point, in December 1951, Winston Churchill was Prime Minister as well as Minister of Defense of England. And he flattered Minister Pearson. and Churchill was smoking a cigar. Pearson has used his inevitable cigar, so has used the phrase, has used the adjective inevitable cigar. Ex-Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson about the Churchill cigar, and I thought it could be the proverbial cigar. So that's the comment I wanted to make. And then fourth, Free India on 12th November 1948, just then, 1947, August 15, Pandit Nehru, or Mr. Nehru, stated his hope that a Republican India would stay in the Commonwealth because they made India a Commonwealth member. And fifth point, Queen Mary, who is the grandmother of um, um, oh, Queen Elizabeth II, I think. You can look it up. She's very pretty. She has some resemblance to King Charles III, and also, but this is a picture where she was very young. You know, Queen Elizabeth II herself was very pretty when she was young, but then the queen status, the majestic queen status, kind of gave her a look of authority. Iron Will, Iron Will, yeah. But she was soft-hearted, so we hear. Anyways, the Queen Mary is very pretty. She also has a resemblance to Prince Harry, not Prince anymore because he's in the U.S. Yeah, so yeah, with his wife Meghan Markle, and so Queen Mary stole the show. The reason, because I have this YouTube video where I have actually smoked a cigar. The and the purchase of Canadian wheat was on the agenda. And then Queen Mary apparently pulls out a cigarette in a long holder, and which she proceeded to tip at a rakish angle. Well, and uh, uh, so and she just stole the show. She presented a very stylish picture. What would be a rakish angle for a cigarette? Maybe the side, side show, Well, she had her own idea, man, lover, or who kind of had designs on Queen Mary's feminine side, feminine aspects. We don't know. Anyways, five. Pakistan had split up from India, right? Just the previous day, the partition, India partition of India, where Pakistan, yeah, and the part then Britain had headed this, and before they left India. So of course, there was all this. It broke Mahatma Gandhi's heart, the partition of India, because he tried so hard to make peace with the Muslims, but the Muslims were adamant. They wanted their own country. And Pakistan, the independent country of Pakistan, and so Prime Minister seemed easier than Nehru to get along with, Pearson had said. But I wonder myself if he knew English as well as Nehru. Nehru has quite a few books in English. We have Discovery of India, Letters to My Daughter Priyadarshini, Letters to My Daughter Priyadarshini, and a lot of which he all wrote from political prison, like Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela also wrote 25 years, I think, in prison, or what is it, 27? And he wrote that way. Nehru also wrote. So all these English books, and maybe because Pakistan attacked India soon after, there was war, and so one wonders. All right, you cannot please an Indian. Donald Trump is very popular in India because he was the first one to say that the U.S. has been funding Pakistan with with money to purchase weapons and all sorts of nuclear weapons. Maybe they don't have nuclear, or they do. I think India went nuclear during Prime Minister Vajpayee's time, and then. I don't think Pakistan has nuclear weapons, but they have a lot of money spent on defense to kind of the Kashmir issue is still a thing, but it's reached a bit of hiatus. I think hiatus is the right word. It's reached a truce, I think, in a way. And yeah, so to fight with to engage in warfare with India. So Donald Trump is very popular in India because he was the first one to say the yeah. So and anyways, my next 7 point I think is Prince Charles as a baby. Lestor B. Pearson has said was a high-spirited lad, small toddler, I think, intelligent and attractive, but he will no doubt settle down to the business of royalty. Look, he's become king now, King Charles. So that is what Lestor B. Pearson had said. 7, Foreign Office officials, he called them the perfect flowers of British diplomacy. And Mike Volume 3 has said that the Roman Catholic Quebec, because most of Canada is Protestant. And that is the description by then Right Honorable Jacques Chrétien, who went on to become Canada's Prime Minister. And that was when we moved to Canada. And yeah, and I will read a portion of Volume 3. All right, because engineers, there's a point about engineers, which Mr. Defoe, all right, is this like that's Robinson Crusoe's Daniel Defoe, right? Defoe. This is with an A. Defoe. Mr. Pearson, I can stand heckling, but I do not like to be insulted in that way. A great Canadian, Mr. Speaker, the late John W. Defoe, in his book Clifford Sifton, in relation to his times, had this to say in describing the tactics of the opposition of 1897 to a railway bill introduced by Mr. Sifton. From his book, I quote the following paragraphs, which have a peculiar relationship to the debate we have been having in this House. He said, if any Canadian satirist wishes to write an oration for the use of an opposition resisting a government proposition to build or assist in building a railway, or if you like, a pipeline, he can readily find his material in that vast repository of talk, the Canadian Hansard. The lines of the attack are defined by usage and sanctified by tradition. This was written many years ago. First must be urged that the building of the road is too early or too late. Then the route is all wrong. It either starts at the wrong place or follows the wrong course. The parties to whom the building of the road or the pipeline is given are not the right parties. Then Mr. Defoe put in quotes some of his own reflections on this. Is not the government aware, Mr. Speaker, that the bankers of London, New York, Paris, and Kalamazoo, in alliance with the engineers of Great Britain, the United States, Germany, and Kamchatka, are eager to build this railway? And given the opportunity, are prepared to make a proposition which will save this country millions and rescue the people from the hands of the exploiters whom the government delight to honor. I want to end with this discussion with this. Because bankers and engineers in the same breath. I'd like to say, but I've earned money. I've earned a fair bit of money when I was working for Igen Corporation. I was making $47,000 per annum, and I made it for some time, and then I went on 3 months, and then 3 months, $12,000. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be hard for me to make that kind of money again. And in U of T, I made 30 grand per year. So 18 months. I worked for 18 months. And I went on employment insurance after. And I also have 3 fellowships, $3,600, and a small bit of research funds back then, $4,800. Yeah, so that was during my master's days. So and marketing research assistantship, almost a grant. Isn't it grant? Yeah. Anyways, so I'm gonna get there. Yeah. Not that much money. I'm never gonna make so much money. But again, yeah. So yeah, and so here goes a song on totem poles. And I researched totem poles. I wanted this raven-faced totem pole, and the internet helped me out. The ROM website has a beautiful piece on it, video on it, and you should watch it. All right. So, and there's the Algonquin Park Totem Pole, which is from the eastern side, but we go for hikes almost every year, and or every year, and we have not seen this totem pole because it's from the eastern end. I think we go from this end. I'm not noted. It's right at the entrance. We couldn't have missed it. So it's just yeah. So here goes Oscar Peterson time, and he is going to. mm, And I'll begin my own song. Carving the totem pole is serving the community for the indigenous human has quite a few ingenious ways. And I thought that I would follow this as a chorus line, the indigenous chant. I was afraid I would laugh. The totem pole is a way of honoring the stories of the elders and of their ancestors. The raven describes the mystifying beauty of nature while revealing the subtle reality of truth. Subtle reality of truth. Thank you to the Rom Museum and the album the Alan Parsons Project. We have the CD. Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience when you see it. And give a big hand of applause to Oscar Pearson.